So the station came into operation in 1971, Canada's oldest nuclear station, 7th oldest in the world.
You're saying that more people live around the Pickering Nuclear Station than any other nuclear station in North America.
Right, 2.2 million people.
It was supposed to close in 2007, then they got an extension till 2013, then till 2018, then till 2020. And now they're applying for a license to run until 2028, though they're only saying publicly 2024.
And sitting right out onto the lake, that peninsula there, is where 14,000 tons of high-level nuclear waste are stored right on the lake.
There's all that waste sitting in fuel pools, and it's dangerous as long as it's sitting there. So shut it down yesterday, preferably, definitely 2018.
After 2018.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're on to item 46, Pickering Nuclear Station, and we have a number of deputants on that. And so it's time to hear from them now.
In 2007, as an energy minister, a newly minted energy minister, I went to Pickering within a few days of being appointed, and I was told pointedly by Ontario Power Generation that the facility was nearing the end of its useful life, that the application for extension, which they had just then been in the process of and were granted, would be the very last one.
I've had a bit of a bias since I've been here, saying we should sort of state, more or less stay to our own area of jurisdiction and deal with it. We've got enough issues to deal with down here, let alone sending messages up the street.
But nuclear power, to the best of my knowledge, and radiation and such, isn't really going to recognize the Rouge River as a boundary that it shouldn't cross. And you could just imagine, even in a minor circumstances, the attendant pressures on Toronto's first responders. So it does have tremendous crossover, Your Worship.
Is it just in your capacity as the former minister, or is it?
It's in my capacity as a father. That's the only capacity I can claim.
And you have 2 million people within the radius of the plant. What's the emergency plan, heaven forbid?
The emergency plan is managed by the province, the Provincial Nuclear Emergency Response Plan.
And what is that?
That is the plan to ensure that in the extremely unlikely event of a nuclear emergency, that there would be as minimal effect on public health.
But by doing what? Like, what's the plan? Sorry.
I don't have the plan here in front of me.
Here in the city of Pickering, I've received my pills to take. I hear the siren go off occasionally in tests. Told to do nothing. I'm told to take my pills and I guess bend over and kiss my ass goodbye.
It would involve evacuation as well as sheltering in place.
I haven't been told to get in my car, go east or west, north or south. I haven't been told what to do. Did you see how many people could not get out of New Orleans? Did you see that? A disaster that they knew was coming 10 days before. They have warning. We will have no warning when this plant blows up. Do not believe the lies that are doled out to you day in, day out.
Just by accident, I called to my insurance company just to check what exactly is covered if something happens there on the station. They said, no, we don't know anything about this. Go to government. You are not covered from nuclear damage. If the station is safe, why Nuclear Liability Act exists? The operator liability limit $650 million. So now I open calculator. 650. So $1,300. That's what we all will get for every house that we can potentially lose.
Why we were doing it today on March 11th is because it is the 6th anniversary of Fukushima and people are still suffering. 138,000 people were expelled from their homes 6 years ago today, and still close to 100,000 have not returned.
You are people of conscience, and this is what's required. We need a gut check. Humanity needs a gut check. We need to stop these people, otherwise there is no future.
And I do believe that it's continuing to operate primarily by the motivation of Ontario Power Generation, because they all get paid there on the basis of how much they generate.
We do a lot of things here that are outside our jurisdiction. We've got far more important things to deal with. Quite frankly, I'm moving in this motion to defer indefinitely.
Motion to defer indefinitely. Those in favour? Councillor Crawford, Councillor DiGiorgio, Councillor Menon Wong, Mayor Tory, Councillor Pasternak, Councillor Robinson, Councillor Thompson. Those opposed? Councillor Ainsley, Councillor Holland, Councillor McMahon, Councillor Shiner. Motion carries.
The good news is that Ontario has a large electricity surplus, so we no longer need Pickering to keep our lights on. In fact, last year, we exported more power than Pickering produced.
As Ontarians, because we've been familiar with nuclear for a long time, we're quite passive about it. Even in light of what happened in Japan, which I personally felt was going to be a more searing event for more people, we continue to be quite passive about it.
And in the song, it talks about how we love the water and how the water is flowing. It's alive, it's flowing.
I'm wondering if everybody in Toronto and the area around here realizes that if there's an accident, all of your real estate is worth zero.
If my house would be burned, I would rebuild my house on this land. But what happens if the land is contaminated?
Of course, our health would be our first concern, but for all the homeowners out there, maybe you should start thinking about that. And maybe you should come out to the next protest.
Do we need a second Fukushima? Do we need a third Fukushima? No, I don't think we need it. Let's work together and get these silly politicians to realize that it's not a good idea, and let's do the right thing and make a movement and shut them down. If we can shut down the coal power plants, we can shut down the nuclear reactors.
Yo! We love you, water.